Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to the Hearthstone Weekly Show, episode 60. Finally got to 60. Anyway, for this week we are going to be going over the military quarter and its constructed applications. Before we start, I have quite a few announcements to make. First things first, Mass Enchant is now live. Mass Enchant's basically a new organization or website that was set up by me and a couple of the other guys who used to be at Mana Grind. They are currently doing tournaments for the North American server. They're going to start doing EU ones a couple months from now once that gets set up. But currently they're doing NA tournaments every Friday. So I'll put a link to the website in the description. Please go check them out. They're awesome guys. Other announcement. Gamer Connect. Now, I've been doing commentary for Gamers Connect. Gamer Connects. There's no S in there. They're Thursday tournaments. So every Thursday at, I want to say 2 PM CET or something, they do a tournament, and me and a guy called Flying Whale are doing live casting on the top 16. So if you wanna hear me and Flying Whale cast the tournament, then by all means go over there. I'll link their website and also sort of any other details on the next tournament in the description, so you guys can catch up on that. I also generally put it up on Twitter whenever I'm going live on one of the casts or streaming or anything like that. So by all means, if you want to keep up with me, go onto my Twitter page. I'll put that in the description as usual. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get started, shall we? First card we are going to be talking about is the swords, the dancing swords, the 3-mana 4/4 death rattle. Your opponent draws a card. This is just as spectacularly bad as we thought it was. I've seen it once in a rogue mill deck. That's it. Not really much to talk about in this particular situation. It's pretty terrible. Moving on to the arguably best card from this set of 6, Spectra Night. Now, Spectra Night has not been seeing as much play as we thought it would, not because the card is bad, but because the archetypes that want it are not popular at the moment. It's still ridiculous, you still can't target it, it's just annoying, it sits around and trades with everything. But the archetypes that want it, albeit the mid-range decks, aren't as popular right now. Paladin mid-range is quite popular. Then you've got Control Warrior, sometimes play it. So you've got two decks that want to play Spectra Night. Druid is not as popular as I think it was last week, so there aren't as many Spectra Nights there. And then the last mid-range deck that's really popular right now, being Hunter, is not in the neighborhood for playing Spectra Night. So the card is very, very good, but the mid-range decks that take advantage of it have not been played as much this week. So we're going to see a lot more of this in the future. Loetheb is still the dominant 5-drop, and it probably will be for a long time. But Spectra Night is still very, very good. Keep an eye on it. As soon as the metagame becomes a bit more mid-rangey, it's going to be very, very good. Lastly, for the non-legendary neutrals, Deathlord. Now, Deathlord is seen play in Priest as an anti-Zoo card, which is hilarious because they can't kill it. It's being played in Zoo, actually, because it's a 2/8 for 3. And besides that, I think I've seen a couple other decks as an anti-Zoo card. It's a very, very good anti-Zoo card. And I think that's where its main application is. Now, on Wednesday or Tuesday, depending on which way you look at it, when the new wing comes out, they are in fact going to be releasing Wailing Soul, which is going to mean that Deathlord and Ancient Watcher are going to be very, very good in the same deck as Wailing Soul. So that's when it's sort of true time to shine will be. But up until then, it's just an anti-Zoo card, and it's a very, very good anti-Zoo card at that. Now we're gonna go over the class cards first for the legendary for a specific reason, which I'll get to when I get to legendary. Voidcaller. Voidcaller is definitely one of the more interesting cards of these 6. The death rattle is incredibly powerful, but the card itself is very, very clunky. I think it's very, very good. Like, whenever I played against it, it's been pretty much destroying me. So I think the card is very, very powerful and is very underestimated. The Death Rattle is one of the most powerful in the entire game. I think it does have a shell. I'm not sure what the shell is. People have been trying it in weird demon decks, or like the Enrage Warlock thing that the guy put up on Hearthstone. But I'm not sure exactly where it goes. I think it does have a shell somewhere. It's a very, very powerful effect. Maybe in future sets, if no one finds a shell for it now. In future sets when they have more demons, then it'll be very, very good then. So I actually do like the card. I think it's very, very powerful. And it will have its time in the sun. It may not be now, but it will have it at some point. Now, onto the card I hyped up the most, besides Loatheb, I think, of the entire set. Rebirth. Well, it's Reincarnate now, but the text is wrong. Yeah, it's an old image. I still think Rebirth is a better name, but Reincarnate. Now, Reincarnate is just as good as I thought it was, if not better, actually. I think I undersold it. What people are doing is they're just cramming 2 into Shaman decks, running Cairn, Sylvanas, Eggs, sometimes Ancestrals, and Baron Rivendare, and just making a deck that will murder you. It does ridiculous things with Cairn and Sylvanas. It's basically, with Sylvanas, it's trigger the Sylvanas and faceless it for 2 mana, which is absurd. And for Cairn, it's basically just faceless manipulator for Cairn. It's pretty close to that. When Kel'Thuzad comes out in 2 weeks, I'm going to be terrified of these decks, because Kel'Thuzad Reincarnate is game over. You get 2 Kel'Thuzads on the board in a Death Rattle deck. Good luck with that. Like, that's going to completely destroy people. So it's a very, very powerful card. It's seen a lot of play. I did actually play against it in Zotac yesterday, and it destroyed me. It was used on a Sylvanas, and I just lost. So the card is excessively powerful. I don't know if it needs nerfing or anything, but I think it's very, very powerful. And the last application that people have been using it with is Leroy. You see, when people saying, oh, Leroy Rebirth, or Reincarnate, is like gimmicky. And a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just Rockbiter Windfury. Yeah, the difference is that Windfury is a useless card. Rebirth. Reincarnate, I think it still sounds better as Rebirth. It does, anyway. Reincarnate is just not a dead card. It's way better than Windfury. Way better. It also means you can use your Rockbiters more freely as removal. Or you can use your Rebirths I'm going to do something nasty to whoever actually renamed that card, because it just sounds better as Rebirth, and that's what I saw it as the first, so I'm used to it. Reincarnate can be used for other applications, so can Rockbiter, so it means you don't have to use both for the combo. You can use half of them for the combo and the other half for actual applications. So the card is very, very good, even though the name drives me absolutely insane. Last card, the other Shaman card. No, it's not neutral. It's not neutral. Baron Rivendare is not neutral. It's only Shaman. Yeah, this is quite funny, because Baron Rivendare, he's supposed to be a Death Rattle guy. He's a Death Rattle guy. The problem is that the deck that wants him is the one with Reincarnate, Ancestral Spirit, Sylvanas, Cairn, and like Leroy combos. You can actually kill someone from 30 with Leroy if you have Baron on the board. Where you go Leroy, Ancestral, attack, Reincarnate, attack, Reincarnate, attack. It's like, and then wait, can you do it? That's 4 attacks, that's 24. I think you can do more than that though. How much? You can't. I know I've seen it, because you can kill people from 30. Is it with double? Yeah, it is. It's Leroy, Ancestral, attack, Reincarnate, 4 Leroy's attack. That's 30 damage. I remember this now. So yeah, you can actually kill people from 30 with Leroy, but that's gimmicky. The Baron Rivendare itself is more of a combat trick, I've noticed, where people just play it down. If it lives, it's fine, but people just play it down, and then when they have Sylvanas on the board, they play it down, Reincarnate the Sylvanas, steal 2 of you guys. It's very, very powerful in that regard. I think it just belongs in Shaman. I don't see it in any other decks. I think it's very, very good in Shaman, but not that good in other decks. I think it's too slow for Constructed, besides that crazy scenario with Shaman, but that's because the Shaman deck is very, very good at slowing down the game. And so it's different. I mean, the metagame at the moment is less bursty right now. There's very, very little burst, and the reason for that is because the metagame is actually faster, but the faster minions are low attack, high health, so they're good at trading, not so much killing you. So the metagame is actually less bursty, even though it's faster. So you actually do see a lot more early game and a lot more mid to late game as well, because the early game slows down the game as opposed to speeding it up further like it did with the combo era. So the metagame is both faster and slower at the same time. Yeah, so the late game decks need a lot of early game now to keep up with it, and the mid-range decks also have some earlier drops. So the metagame has actually turned out to be really, really nice post Naxxramas. I think that's all going to go down the drain once the next wing comes out, because Undertaker and Zombie Chow coming out, and then that's the apocalypse as far as Zoo is concerned. But the metagame at the moment is very, very nice. There's a lot of decks, a lot of tier 1 decks, and that is a very, very good place to be, and I'm very, very happy with Blizzard for actually doing that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, put it in the comment section below. As I said, I'll put the Mass Enchant and Gamer Connect sort of tournament thing in the description. And if you want to keep up with me when it comes to streaming or whenever I'm casting or something, then follow me on Twitter. I always put a tweet out ahead of time. But anyway, this has been Jotto, signing off.